Evening guys, Chris Graham here for We Love Betting. I'm very tired tonight, so let's get through this quickly. It starts chat. 5 bets. The stats say we'll win. So I've done loads of research on this tonight, that's why I'm tired. But these are the 5 bets I've come up with. The stat friendly bets, and they're all decent prices. 5 bets for you, 4 in England, 1 from Scotland. QPR against Arsenal is the first game I want to talk about. One thing I found quite astonishing was Arsenal haven't won in the league at Loftus Road since November the 24th, 1990, the same week that Margaret Thatcher resigned as Prime Minister. And talking of Thatcher, Ghost was the big film of that particular time back in November 1990. It was #1 in the film charts in the UK back then as well, so that's extraordinary stuff. That's just a bit of an aside though. The main bet on this particular game is under 2.5. Both these sides perform poorly when it comes to producing high scoring games. The over 2.5 chart sees both these sides in the bottom 4 in the Premier League, joint 17th place. Arsenal and QPR with their over 2.5 ratios stuck both at 45.7%, so less than half of their games both these sides have gone over 2.5. So under 2.5 from me here. The last 3 Arsenal games went under 2.5. The last 4 QPR games went under 2.5. The stats say that's a good bet, and you can back it at 11-8. Knocking price, QPR against Arsenal under 2.5 on Saturday. Man United Chelsea is the next game I'm looking at, and it's the flip side of the previous bet. It's over 2.5, and it's pretty obvious. It's one of the highest scoring fixtures in recent years. Incredible, 29 goals in the last six matchups in the league, that is. 4.8 goals per game. 10 in the last 12 games in all competitions have gone over 2.5 with these sides. We've had a 3-3 draw, we've had a 3-2 win for Man United, a 5-4 win for Chelsea back in Halloween last year, of course, in the Capital One Cup. So always goals when these sides come up against each other. Over 2.5, 8-11, it's not a bad price. I'm going for that again. Just a flurry of goals in this fixture in recent years. Let's hope that trend continues. It's 8-11 for it to see 3 or more goals on Sunday. Saturday is all about the championship for me. It's going to be really exciting. All the games kicking off at I think 12:45. It's going to be tremendously exciting. One of the key fixtures is Crystal Palace against Peterborough. Peterborough looking to stay up. God willing they do. I love that club. And Crystal Palace looking to confirm their place in the playoffs. Looking at the trends and stats of the performances this season generally, I'm expecting a high scoring second half in this fixture. In fact, only Watford have scored more second half goals this season than Crystal Palace. They've scored 44 second half goals this season, just 26 in the first half, so almost double the goals scored in the second half for Palace. They play much better in the second half. Peterborough, 35 goals scored in the second half. That's kind of mid-table in the second half scoring charts. But 49 conceded in the second half. That's the worst in the entire league. So you've got the worst defence in the second half against the second best attack in the second half. For me, it adds up to the second half being the highest scoring half in this fixture on Saturday, and that's 11-10. I like that. Similar lines here. Watford against Leeds. This is a cracking stats bet. So it's rock solid, this particular bet, and there's a goal between the 61st and the 75th minute in this fixture. Where do you start here? Watford have scored 25 goals in that 15-minute period. Incredible, 25. How do you relate that to the other side? Well, Brighton, of course, who are in the playoffs, have only scored 5 in that period the whole season. Watford 5 times that at 25, miles clear of the rest of the teams in the Championship. In fact, the second best side, the second most prolific scorers in this period are Leeds, who they're playing against on Saturday. Leeds have scored 17 in this period, but nowhere near Watford in 25, so the top 2 there. And when it comes to conceding goals, Leeds have conceded 15, which is the joint second worst with Charlton. 16 is the worst, that's Wolves, but 15 conceded by Leeds. Watford just behind them on 14, so the joint third worst score as Watford. So it's a manic 15-minute period. The stats say this is an absolute rock solid bet. You can back it 11-8. Watford and Leeds, the top two most prolific scorers in this period, and also terrible defence-wise as well. So there's loads of reasons for backing that 11-8, a goal between the 61st and 75th minute in the Watford-Leeds game. And finally, it's off to Scotland. And again, going back to the original first bet, QPR Arsenal bet, again looking at the over 2.5 scoring chart in the SPL, and these sides are joint top. It's Motherwell against Inverness Caledonian Thistle, over 2.5. They're both ahead of Celtic in terms of goals. Games involving these sides going over 2.5. 65.7% each of them. They're joint top. I've gone over 2.5 for Motherwell and Inverness Caledonian Thistle, higher than Celtic. Like I say, they're number one, the joint top. The last 5 Motherwell games have gone over 2.5. In fact, 8 of the last 9 Well games have gone over 2.5. That's good enough for me. I can back it 5 to 6 that it happens again this weekend. I like that. In fact, I like all these bets. I like all 5 of them. And I'm going to tell you them once again. QPR Arsenal under 2.5. Man United Chelsea over 2.5. Palace Peterborough, the second half will be the highest scoring half. Watford Leeds, this is a rock solid one, this one. A goal will be scored between the 61st and 75th minute. And finally, Motherwell against Inverness Caledonian Thistle over 2.5. Good night.